Hey, what is going on, you guys? My name is Rayge and we are back today with a quick update video in regards to my roster, how I'm preparing for Baby Apocalypse's release, as well as what you should be aware of if you're preparing your roster as well. We got the additional confirmation in last week's Marvel Strike Force blog post. Make sure you guys check that out because it's a great summary, really segregating the differences between the Horseman sagas as well as the Apocalypse saga itself. So just as a recap, guys, the Apocalypse saga here is pretty much everything that's been built up in the last year, ramping up with the 4 Legendary Horseman teams. We have 4 sagas here that you do need to actually complete, at least on the heroic mode, if you want to unlock Baby Apocalypse. And as well, we have the Apocalypse saga to the far left here, being released in exactly 4 days at the time of recording. That said, you need to make sure that when you go through each of these sagas as well, that you actually 3-star the heroic mode. So what does that mean? Going through each of these nodes and actually going through and beating them perfectly without any of your allies falling. I do have guides for each and every one of these sagas, so I am going to make sure to link that in the description below. That way you guys have reference. But otherwise, on top of these requirements, you need to make sure all 23 characters, so that includes these 4 Legendary Horseman teams, plus Spider Weaver, Kestrel, and Deathpool, making sure all of them are geared up to Gear Tier level 16, and as well making sure that they have ISO 8, the T2 level 4. So making sure that they have Blue 4 equipped and ready to go for all 23 characters. And guys, I made a video on this earlier before, but that is going to be probably the true bottleneck that's going to prevent a lot of players from going in. And I am, pretty surprised, not going to lie. I was reviewing my roster. I was pretty surprised to see how close I actually am, even being 100% free to play. So credit goes to my alliance, who's always been engaged, and we've been constantly doing Doom raids to get the teal gear. But fortunately, just been lucky to capture on some of the ranked rewards, leaderboards, and been able to actually amass the ISO Blue. And I've never used it up until this point where I'm reviewing my roster. That said, I do need to point out to you guys, it's already been data mined and confirmed, but when Apocalypse Saga is released, his initial mode, the hard mode, where you only need Gear Tier level 15 for all characters, beating that is actually going to give you 1.2 million significant ISO 8 Blue 4. 1.2 million is basically a character and a half, because each character costs about 715,000, so very, very notable. And what I'm also leaning on is the second stage of the Apocalypse saga, where it was noted in the data mines that there's about 700k per node. So what does that mean? So let's pretend Pestilence right now is the Apocalypse saga. In the hard mode here, similar naming, the last 2 nodes are apparently going to reward 600k each, giving us 1.2 million. And in the heroic mode equivalent of Apocalypse, the first 4 nodes are actually going to give us 700k each. So nodes 1, nodes 2, nodes 3, nodes 4. That gives us a grand total of 4 million ISO 8 Blue 4, which is very, very huge, guys. 4 million is basically almost 3.5, 4 characters in total, especially when you average it out to be the 715 per character upgrade. So that's absolutely huge, guys. I cannot stress that enough. Let me show you as well where I'm getting these numbers from in terms of the upgrade. So I'm gonna go to a character that I don't actually have ISO 8 Blue 4 yet. So Kestrel, I want to go to her upgrade here, and you can see you need all of them at ISO 8 Blue 3. And then when you hit in the actual upgrade, to bring this 3 to a 4, it does cost 60k. 60k, 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 60k. So 5 times 60 is 300k. You also need to bring this to level 4 from level 3. And you can see here that costs 415 on the bottom right. 415 plus the 300 gives us 715 per character. Unfortunately, it means that if you multiply this 715 by 23 characters in total, you need pretty much about 16.4 million. Very, very notable, guys. But the fact that Boundless and Scopely are giving us pretty much a free 4 million from the Apocalypse saga itself is basically a quarter of the work. So that's why it's very notable, guys. About 4 characters or so, 4 to 5 characters, which is absolutely huge. Now, that said, I do want to quickly showcase for you guys what I have ready to go here, because I was pretty surprised to review, right? Top down, I'm just going to go row by row, so that way you can see visually. Kestrel is the only one I don't have brought up there for level 4. Going to the next row here, it's actually all good, Red Hulk, Deathpool, Hulk, Wong, and we have Archangel all ready to go. And we need to work on this row specific. Actually, no, this one's good too. Heartless, She-Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Nemesis, Agatha, all ready to go. Next up, then we have to work on Abomination, Magneto, Brawn. We need to work on Dazzler, Psylocke, and this is where I'm basically working top down, right? Then we obviously finish things off with Sunfire and Phantom X. So I did the math already, guys, and I'm very, very close. So if we account for the fact that there's gonna be a 4 million coming from the Apocalypse Sagas the moment they're released, I also have a reserve here right now of 1.2 million. That gives me about 5.2. I think what I need around is 5.5 to 6 million, given the number of characters I have. So really, the last step for me is just bringing all my characters up to gear tier level 16. And that's what I'm doing slowly over time in the next few days, because I don't like to maximize my golden opportunity milestones. I like to, take my time, that 2.7, 3.5 million range, just to take, obviously, because it comes over time anyways. I tend not to overspend just to save my resources, right? And we know that there's a gold spending event coming as well. So there you guys have it. So like I said, there's actually not that many characters left for me to upgrade. And again, I'm 100% free to play. Have never spent a single dollar into any of this. So definitely feasible if you're free to play and you're competitive as much as I have. So again, I'll just do a count for you guys so that way you can see visually how many characters. 1 for Castro. Let's see, no good there. 2 Abomination, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 characters in total, guys. So that's where I'm at. 8 characters times by the 715. It gives us that 5 million plus range that I'm going to be working on, which is kind of the number I was working around, right? But again, keep in mind too, we need to take advantage of those initial notes from the Apocalypse Saga opening up. I think that's a huge bonus for anyone, and as well, other things to be mindful of when you're going through the milestones and just seeing how the day-to-day is going. I'll give you an example. I think Memory Lane there were some of them that actually do give you Isolate Blue if you're able to go through, right? So this month-long event, eventually the goal is to actually aim for this 11 to 25%, because you can see it gives you an additional 200 250 depending on where you're kind of at, and you want to aim for that range. But these are the type of events that we can keep an eye out for and see if there's opportunities. Charging station not going great right now, but again, if you look further ahead, there is ISO level 4 ions here if you go deeper and deeper, right? But there's always opportunity, guys, to save up. And as well, we can't forget going through Cosmic Crucible on a weekly basis, as well as War. That's all going to give us the T2 ISO 4. So that's really where I'm kind of sourcing it from, guys. If you're just constantly active, you're going to be able to get it over time. And guys, keep in mind too, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like, it's not going to be a race. This is the end game of the end game. So it's great that I'm very close being free to play, but at the end of the day, we're all going to get there over time anyway. So don't stress. Take your time with it, because at the end of the day, this is a character that's been phenomenal that we've seen built up in the last year. He's going to be here to stay for a while, and he's going to change the game anyways. So there's no rush to get him whatsoever. Hope this video helps you guys prepare as we get ready. I'll make sure I get those videos ready to go the moment he's released as well. Thank you as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.